Let the bass kick.
Another Monday. We on the podcast. Tuna to my right. To my right. Got Will to my left. Beats as always.
Breaking it down.
Dr. Hoy.
Dr. Details on the beat, everybody.
Oh, we're live.
On the ones and twos.
It
What up?
Sneaks up on us.
Yeah,
Every
Sneaks
time.
up on
You
you.
know, it's usually when you're beatboxing too, so I like that. I
Yeah.
gotta start like supermarket sweep. Like, which one is it?
Yeah. You're the next contestant on the Last Cash podcast.
Price is wrong. What up, everybody? It is Monday, October 19th, 2020, and this is episode 10 of Last Cash. I'm Will. That's Marcus.
Hey guys, I'm Marcus.
That's Dr. Hoy.
Peace.
And joining us tonight, our friend Mike Tuna Thompson. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Well, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Local legend.
Yeah, it's a pleasure for us. So, we'll start off at the obvious. There is a story behind your name. All the disc golf community affectionately knows you as Tuna,
Correct.
and that's not your go-to order at Subway. So, give us the story behind your name.
Wow, I wasn't really ready for that one. I guess I should have been. Well, when I was about 8 years old, Catfish Hunter was in the World Series pitching baseball about this time of year. And I was a pitcher for the Little League team, had the sidearm, and they called me Tuna Thompson. So now in Hendersonville, people don't know Mike Thompson, but a lot of them know Tuna. And, obviously we didn't have the awareness at that age of the implications of tuna.
Two?
Did you live up or live down to your name?
Now, well, I can't comment on that one.
Yeah.
I did kind of manipulate the name to fit the disc golf scene way back in the day, and most people know it as, did I get a 2 on that hole? Nah. 2? Nah.
Damn.
Nah.
Ah, good stuff.
And then you just get a dash at Seven Oaks.
Yeah. So, Mike, you joined the PDGA in 1998. Your PDGA number is 10777. A lot of lucky sevens in that PDGA number. Very respectable PDGA number. When did you actually start getting into disc golf or disc sports?
Well, we used to throw the 165 at the beach, drinking tall boys way back in the day, but I didn't get introduced to disc golf until 15 years after that. No thanks to Johnny Powell. And I think it was 94 something was when I got started, and once I got into it, I didn't let go,
Where'd you first start playing?
The Oaks was home.
Nice.
And it was 8-10 rounds a week, every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you've been around the Oaks for a long time. You also hooked up having discs in the gas station over there by Seven Oaks. You were the man behind that, were you not?
That's correct. I went to the Elm Worlds in 98 or 7, and I saw golf discs in a convenience store one morning going to the course, and I thought it was cooler than sliced bread, so I decided I'd go home and do it. And my first store was at Seven Oaks there, and she let me put about 12 discs in there. And then it, grew into 14, 15 stores at the biggest point with, stock 120, 140 discs in each store. So that was, and originally it was all about becoming an ambassador for the sport, knowing that people would be walking into the convenience store that didn't have a clue about disc golf, see a rack of them and say, what the hell is that? And bam, we got more players.
Yeah, because there's a course right there.
So that was the initial thought in regards.
Were they spread out, like each at a different course, or were they kind of all close to Oaks? Or
No,
were going
different courses all
Okay.
over Bowling Green and
oh man,
Cookville and Murfreesboro. And
So when was I can't see any of your PDGA stats because you're not current, but so when was your first tournament? I know you've played in 118 sanctioned events in your career.
that's news.
Yeah,
damn.
that
Over
is
the
one thing I
century
was
mark.
able to find out.
Well, I remember I had a job where I could travel anywhere and do my sales work. So I'd go to where the tournaments was, play the tournament, play the course that week, do my work, get my butt kicked that weekend, and move to the next town. And I did that for 2.5 years, and then finally I started kicking some butt. And in '97, I was the advanced points leader for the PDGA.
Yeah.
That's no small feat.
Yeah, that was Well, I was on the road every weekend.
Yeah.
I was just doing it. I was out there, and then would be in Nashville when there was a tournament here, but otherwise I was on the road.
What are some of those places you hit during that time, or what are some of the bigger tournaments you remember going to during that year? Or moments from that.
Well, the Am Worlds was in Michigan, and we went to Rochester to the Worlds, and Flagstaff, and
Yeah.
so always cashed at the Worlds. That was a plus.
Were you RV in it? Or
no.
were you-
Last
Had a
catch?
little truck and roll around, and of course she wasn't making any money,
Yeah.
but it was just doing it. That's what my addiction was.
Nice.
Did you ever do any MTA?
Oh yeah, we did that with the local tournament.
Maximum time aloft for those listening.
Right. And what else was it? There was the double disc court. There was the MTA. There was the freestyle, and then there was the something else. I'm not coming to me right now.
They dabbled it. Some had ultimate events. I think at some point back then, didn't they?
Don't remember the ultimate being part of it. Double
Longest
disc
throw?
distance. Yeah.
That was it. Yeah, distance.
Yeah.
So that's a huge change in and of itself. The moving away from the multi-event format of the first flying disc championships and the first flying disc events, where it was an overall event with a bunch of different sports encompassed within it.
And that was unique to Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere else was just normal tournaments.
Oh.
That's like, and that gradually phased out.
Mm-hmm.
To have been here from the early 90s and to see the way disc golf has changed, what's your overall impression there?
Astounded at the number of people that you guys have at your weeklies, monthlies. Used to, you'd go to the course and I know every car in the parking lot. Even you guys today, there's no way you could. There's so many different people.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, you go to a turn, I knew every car. It was the group. But now it's so much bigger. And the mushroom, and it's awesome.
Who were some of the people you were battling against, or when you first started playing at the Oaks? I mean, the usual suspects.
Griffin claims he was in there.
Who won between y'all?
I got a couple trophies for the state. Yeah.
Okay. What about Hardy? Was he?
Yeah, it seems like he might have been older. I'm not sure about Steve. I can't think of who my real. The crew that we played with was Mark Stern and Hanro and JP, Johnny Powell, and we were there, all day long, every day.
Nice.
And now you're still floating around, and I believe you're still supplying discs to a lot of those stores still, correct?
Prior to COVID,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
But now, then I've backed off on that. Hopefully, get it back going in the spring if things, progress. But
How does that work? Did you contact Innova? Or are they all Innova disc? Or they like? How
Well,
did that? Did you make a partnership with them, or how did that kind of work? Or
It's
you
kind
just
of weird. You think you're like an Innova distributor, but you're not really. They want you to sign something that's saying you have to you can't sell them for less than this, or you know it was not an easy process to get in, and it's probably more difficult today. But it was just a matter of me, needing to supply the stores, and they, went along with it. Even though I'm basically their customer, I'm buying in bulk.
okay.
That's, impressive because a lot of those stores, that's how a lot of people are introduced to disc golf. They either walk into the store first and find out the Seven Oaks or whatever course is right there, or they end up at the course and they see people playing, and then they're like, wow, what is this? And then the next time they're at that store, they're like, oh, they have those Frisbees here. So, that's definitely a huge first foot in the door for the sport for a lot of people. So
It's exposure, and that was my main. It wasn't about money, make a couple bucks at this, but
right.
it was about the ambassadorship and getting it out to the people, because it was so much less known then, even more so than today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you help anyone start a store?
What do you mean?
It's like, did anyone know the fact that you were like distributing this, and they just like said, okay, well, I can make my own store if.
John Canuck back in the day had a disc golf store over on Nolan's. Discorama. I couldn't think of the name, and I couldn't believe how he could pay a storefront rental, and knowing the amount of discs that get purchased, especially then it was so low for it to work. That's why I went with the business plan of only targeting the convenience stores nearest the disc golf courses. And so I went to where the courses were, and that's how the business grew.
And it worked. It's grassroots, if you ever could call anything grassroots.
Yeah.
That's straight up.
It worked.
And, you're still a fixture in the Nashville disc golf community. You definitely scared the living crap out of a bunch of people at Halloween at Ogwood last year. I will go to my grave saying that I wasn't one of them, but I was.
Wait, what? I don't remember this.
Yeah, the night of the
happened
bonfire, man. Saturday night, everybody's standing around the bonfire, and all of a sudden there's a guy creeping around at the edges of the light in a weird, like, copper African, like, ceremonial mask. And everybody was, like, trying to figure out who it was, because they were, like, looking around. Is it this person? Is it this person? No. And honestly,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody knew that he was even there, because he hadn't been there for that long. He had just showed up.
I didn't remember seeing it. Was it Saturday night? Yeah, I didn't. Did you play? Or
No, he just showed up the night of the bonfire, dude, and it was, like, he was just walking around, and he would, like, sit there, and he'd, like, come, like, disturbingly close, like, not like within your personal space close,
Yeah.
but close enough to where he's, like, facing you, and just standing there perfectly silent and still, and everybody was just super creeped out by it. And people were, like, legitimately scared, walking around going, who is that? Who is that? Does anybody know who that is? Is he supposed to be here? Is that part of the... And I was just like, I love it. I don't care who it is. I was like, that's awesome. And then come to find out, it's my buddy Tuna.
Yeah, I told Telly, and then it was out. I told one person, I said Telly, and he looked at me, and so he knew that I knew it. And then later on, I played poker with the boys, and I acted like I just pulled up when it was time to play poker, and so that a couple of them figured it out from the poker later. That's the only person that it could have been. So it was great, but I saw
got a lot of detectives in that
I saw the most amazing looks in people's eyes. Some of them kind of grinning, some of them acting like they weren't scared shitless. Others were looking at me like they were ready to fucking stick a knife in me. It was awesome. It was a cool
genuine
experience.
reaction.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was brutal. They
That's incredible.
Yeah, because they have the terror round, right?
Yep.
And they got people,
Spooks.
Yep.
Yeah. Get out there and scare folks.
Yeah.
We do encourage that during the terror round. And man, supremely creepy. excellent choice because all black with that ceremonial mask and
I had some shoulder pads in there, so it looked kind of weird. I would,
Yeah, you didn't look entirely natural.
Right.
Formed of this earth.
That's funny. I hadn't heard about that. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Well, yeah, because you went home. You went home every night. That was what it was.
I had to prepare for a tournament.
Yeah.
I can't stay out past my bedtime.
You're coming out this year, right? This
doing
weekend?
the dubs with Par Tuna. Me and Mr. Pardue.
Nice.
Oh, part.
Yeah, dude, you and Jerry. That's great. That's a great combo.
Yeah. That's fun.
Jerry's a fun dude.
Yeah.
Man, this is honestly like Halloween at Dogwood. I would say, like, honestly, it's the number 2 on my radar in terms of tournaments that we do throughout the year after the Music City Open. But it also it holds such a different part of my heart. You know what I mean? Like, it's like totally, it's like a fun, it's our baby. You know what I mean? It's something that like me and Alan created with Jay Ray and the guys from Eat Sleep Disc, Chris Pierce and Jeff Van Meter. Like, we like kind of just combined forces with Philip and made this huge Halloween blowout, this crazy event. And it's a festival. It's like a Halloween disc golf festival, 3 days of all kinds of different events and activities, and crazy stuff goes down.
The popularity this year at Voodoo Dubs, everybody knew it was opening October 1st at 8 p.m., and we had to change something right at 8 p.m., so I changed the opening to 8:13 p.m. to give me like 5 minutes to update something on the registration. People started sending comments. I'm on the computer and now it says what happened. It says 8:13. This like what's wrong with the registration? Like, and it filled up within 72 hours.
Yeah.
114, 116 spots. So it was full quick. And then the Bell Witch Open, 165 spots. The C tier the next day filled up. I think that was filled up before the Voodoo Dubs even opened.
I think
we already have a wait list 10. Yeah, it was close. We already have a wait list 10 deep on that. So
that's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's
the secret is out. I think
Yeah,
I think it's
exactly.
fair to say. It's just a great time. And so many epic things happen. We have like the freestyle battle.
Yeah.
Everybody goes a little wild. Everybody stays up too late. Paige Pierce and Zoe Andike were there last year as like the celebration for the Paige Pierce doubles series.
Yeah.
So, and that was, it's just so much fun, especially like Voodoo Dubs is just so wacky.
Yeah.
It's zany. It's like nothing else that you do in disc golf or you see done in disc golf.
And Alpo is the ultimate like carnival ringleader type of guy. Like
yes. He's
it
perfect for that.
Yeah, exactly. It fits his personality.
We both got to bring our kids out this weekend. Well, just to see.
Yeah.
Take some pictures.
Yeah, man. Come hang out.
Yeah.
Even if you're not playing, it's just a big time. If
you're not playing, put on a weird costume. Come on out and scare people.
We do have a costume contest. We do a pumpkin carving contest usually. This is all going to end up being spontaneous on the fly type stuff because we just came off of Music City Open. And normally we have a little bit more of a window between Music City Open and Ogween because Music City Open is usually in late summer.
Golf clap for the Music City Open boys
thank you,
here.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Yeah, normally we get a little bit of a break, and with originally being slotted for the National Tour finale, we were pushed to late September, and then the National Tour Series pushed. So, but we're still, we're just coming off of Music City Open, and we got our second biggest event of the year right on its heels.
I think those things being a little bit spontaneous, though, is part of the fun of the Ogween. Like, if it's too rigid, just like it goes from one event to the next, but there's always a little break in between for everybody to kind of settle down after, like, and everybody gets to pick and choose where they're camping, what they want to do. It's kind of, there's just basically a menu, and you can pick which activities you want to go to.
Yeah, and
some
then you
people
can just see how you feel.
And don't do Bell Witch Open. Some people do Bell Witch Open, and now this year with Tea Times, you may be able to sleep in a little bit, but when it was 2 rounds, there was always, it's like the most drop tournament.
And you may have Frisbee come flying through your tent.
Yeah, exactly. If you're on the fairway, yeah.
That's always the fun of it, too, is like seeing who is the first person to set up their tent in the way wrong spot.
Yeah.
And then come Voodoo Doubles when there's all sorts of crazy stuff going on the course anyway.
Yeah, nobody's
And then all of a
safe.
sudden people are like climbing out of their tent early in the morning in their underwear, and there's like a group of 8 people standing there in front of them throwing discs.
Yeah.
That's always great.
I've camped at Ogwood. Have you?
No, I haven't camped there.
Still.
Where'd you
I brought my
camp
own
at?
tent.
But
I
where?
camped at between hole. Actually on the fairway of hole 18,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right beside the road.
Because last year I was.
That's a good
like,
spot.
The
Yeah.
fairway behind hole 18's basket was like, who's gonna get their truck stuck next? Like there were so many trucks out there. Like it was got a little bit muddy in that little hill.
That's
and
how that key got in the hole. You know the keyhole. That's how I got there. The truck got stuck, and it just kept like
just
spinning
kept
their
going
tires
and
out.
just build up. And then all those telephone poles just fell into place.
There you go. It might not be true, but
It was definitely not true. I remember the day we put those poles in there.
It seems very plausible.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds
Plausible
sounds
for sure.
right.
Knowing
And then there's the
shenanigans that go
Breaking
on.
Bad trailer in the back, like around hole 17.
Oh, the good memories, Breaking Bad.
Yeah, those trailers are gone now.
Are they?
Yeah,
Oh.
the fifth wheels are gone.
Okay.
Yeah, I think one of them I know.
What about all them tars?
all them tires is probably
Yeah.
still right where them tires used to be.
Does that mean they can move the tee box back?
No.
Oh.
Oh, come on! Hey, you heard it here first. Move the
Redesign.
tee box.
Not move it, but
Back.
maybe install a longer one. That would be cool. That's an interesting, intriguing
17's always
idea.
that epic ace run because it's
Move
the
it
wind out by
back.
the pin. You don't know what it's doing,
Yeah,
and so you're throwing out, and then it's
but now you really got to nail the line.
that's
Yeah.
adds a new dimension.
You can get the skip ace, easier skip ace.
It's weird stuff at Ogwood, man. The elevation comes into play. The wind changes in a span of like 50 feet.
Yeah.
Totally different, doing different things. But Tuna, you were able to hang out at Music City Open this year for a little bit, weren't you? Did you come around a little bit?
Yeah, probably illegally, but you know.
Well, you could have just come to me.
He was picking up trash, so he was there as a volunteer.
Yeah, I was making sure. Yeah.
Yeah, crowd control.
No, I hung out with the boys down by the trailer parks for a little bit, and then they wanted to hang out there, and I wanted to go watch the big dogs, so I just went up to 17 and kind of watched them come through 16, 17, and 18.
Nice.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Do you
I
see
mean,
me?
for a year to not have any spectators, that's like, man, the list of players that we had on men and
Yeah.
women's side out there at Cedar Hill.
Yeah.
I know how hard it is for somebody to be told not to go and watch this at their home course, and I know how hard that is because I know how hard it is to ask somebody not to go out there and watch it.
Yeah.
And that was why I was very, very clear with people, and I would reach out to them personally and say, "Hey, let's talk. If there's a role you can fill, if there's a job you can do, then I'll throw a volunteer shirt on you, and you're allowed to be on the course."
Yeah.
So we did try to do that, and I did try to give people some options on how they might be able to see some action, maybe like going over to Hole 8's trailer park or going to the Pavilion by 17 or certain places like that where you could keep your distance and not group up together too bad and see the groups come through. I mean, it is what it is, man. It's all weird, and I know how hard it is for everybody.
I think it was smooth as hell, bro.
You don't want to be a super spreader.
yeah,
Super spreader event. Yeah.
a vector. You don't want to be a
Although now they've in certain like this past weekend, it looked like they had a couple spectators at the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship. Like you could buy a spectator pass, and then it was
Does it come with a
there was
mask?
media. They all had masks on.
No, I mean if
I
you
was-
buy like a pass, does it come with a mask?
Oh, I'm
This
sure
is
they-
your official.
I'm sure they give you. Yeah, you're like you're volunteering as a spectator or
Yeah.
something. But
See this mask? I'm official.
yeah, exactly. But they had the Disc Golf Pro Tour. I mean, the biggest payout ever for an event. And
yeah. Talk about changes in disc golf.
$20,000 to the winner of MPO and $20,000 to the winner of FPO. Which shout out to
And it broke down even further than that.
Shout out to Kevin Jones taking down MPO,
Yep, congratulations
And
to
one
Kevin
stroke?
Jones and Haley King.
and Haley King defeated Paige Pierce in a 2-hole playoff. Went up against the champ and won.
Where's the video for all this?
It's
DiscGolfNetwork.com.
the new pay-per-view feature. You got to pay for the monthly subscription, but I thought Jomez was on the
Yeah, there's Jomez
ESPN
and Gatekeeper and GK Pro, I think. were all on
ESPN
it.
2 is going to be covering the
final round, there will be a broadcast
Jomez
of the
Pro
final round.
coverage is going to be they're going to edit it like similar to CBS Sports coverage.
Yeah.
So that's two big events this year that have had national sports media: the CBS Sports Network and ESPN covering the Dynamic Disc Open, and then the ESPN2 covering the Disc Golf Pro
Phenomenal.
Tour.
But we've made the top 10 on ESPN plenty of times.
Yeah. But it was like 20,000 and 15,000 and 13,000 and 10,000 for 1 through 4.
It was
I think the first person was,
20,000 for first place,
Nate
MPO
Dawes.
and FPO, 10,000 for second, 5,000 for third, 3 for fourth, 1,800 for semifinal winners, 1,300 for quarterfinal winners, and $1,000 for round 1.
Yeah. So
It's pretty solid.
that's an extra. It was extra like $100,000 added in. That's we're getting to some crazy for disc golf crazy numbers.
From back in the day.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
I probably
un-
thought about this way too late, but shout out to Philip for hitting the Last Cast podcast up about the commentary. He was like, we need to do something for his course as well. So
Oh wait, you guys are
yeah, we need to do
this
some commentary
this
for
duo,
For what?
Phil. Awkward
What about him?
commentary. We need to do some commentary for his course. He hit me up today and was like, "Hey, good job, you guys."
Nice. Commentary for the course, like for
Or-
video?
But we
or-
had to like have disc golfers and do the whole. Hey, this is
should we make a feature card?
we should make
For
a feature
Bellwitch
card.
Open?
Yeah. Who's gonna edit that?
Who's going to film it?
Harper.
Harper. Ooh.
Somebody talk to him.
Harper.
Harper.
Where you at,
Shout
bud?
out.
Where you at, Harper?
We want to hire you.
Yeah. Since,
put,
since he didn't come, he
we'll-
can do that.
We can't offer you $20,000.
We'll put
Since-
Harper and
since he didn't show
Scotty and Harper and David and Scotty together. I bet they could probably
Ooh.
figure
Since he
that
didn't
out.
show up for the last cash, that means he can do this favor.
That's
It's a little late notice to start hiring media.
It's just not.
but Harper. He's
we gotta
probably-
plant the seed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one afternoon. We could make a. I'll have to look and see who we got on.
He'd be so excited to do this.
I mean, definitely Logan. Who like? I need to pull up the
I got you.
people we got registered. The top.
An MPO. Oh, let's see here. An MPO, we got Alan Farmer, Anthony Sinclair, Cody Munns, DJ Wicks, Dutch Napier is
Ooh,
coming.
Dutch
What?
Napier.
Yeah,
Logan.
Dutch is going to be here. Jacob York, Jared Cupador, Jonathan Belch, Josh Hauke, Josh Major, Josh Parrott, Justin McCain, Kevin Rarick is playing. Well, he's on the wait list. Logan Bowers, of course. Logan Marshall, Luke Sampson, Matt DeLong, Mikey Hughes, Turtle, Philip Belknap, Stone Smith, Taylor Woodward, and Dr. Hoy.
We'd have
playing.
to have Stone on there.
FPO, we've got Jennifer Watts, Jessica
He's been
Kukler,
shooting
Sarah Sinclair, and Tara Cravens.
It'd have to be Stone, Logan,
Last year's champ is Josh Hauke.
Josh
he
Hauke.
killed it last year.
Hauke,
And Dutch.
and Dutch
Napier.
for sure.
Dude, Dutch, I hadn't even noticed that he had signed up. That's
Luke Sampson had to drop out today, so he's
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Just-
Alan Posey's still on there. He dropped out as well because
Yeah.
he's an arm wrestling champion of Seven Oaks. Overdid it a little bit, I guess.
yeah.
He literally injured himself.
He was arm wrestling Rodney.
Which you should know better. I mean,
I'd like to hear the grunts. From that
you
thing.
should know better than to arm wrestle
Yeah.
Rodney Goad.
Was that
Were
the,
you part of that arm wrestling
that the Blue Battle?
championship?
Had no clue.
the
I don't
blue-
know. It was just, I think it was a spur of the moment. But yeah, Alpo lost to Rodney, and he got an injury.
Apparently, he beat several people before on his way to that devastating
Yeah.
loss
Yeah,
to Rodney
exactly.
Goad.
Oh my God! Like snap kind of injury.
I know.
The
right?
first
I don't
person
I don't
think
think there
about
was
it.
any bone outside the
The
skin.
first person that told me that something was up told me, he's like, yeah, Alan was like throwing left-handed because he broke his arm or something. I was like, oh no, what? He would right before Halloween. He always does, like, there's always something right before Halloween.
Noodle arm.
because Rodney had to drop out. He had a back injury. So maybe Rodney was trying to use back muscles and Alpo was trying to use more arm muscle, and it's just double injury. Same
That sounds sensual.
Those guys.
double injury. Yep.
So you believe I was about to go to USDGC and spectate before they said there was no spectators, and then I
Oh,
talked
boom.
to the guys at Intima and let me volunteer. You know.
Yeah, that's
and
the answer.
then, and they was like, cool. And then I was like, well, I was going to get on a plane and come up. And, well, why don't you, since you're going to get on a plane, just let the locals handle it.
Really?
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay. I get
So
it.
because you were getting on a plane, then they.
Yeah. Well, no, that was through the conversation. I'm not
Yeah.
Yeah.
throwing it out like so negative. It's just that's just kind of how it broke
Right
down.
down your planes, people.
Have you gone to USDGC or?
Well, that was
multiple
my 20-year anniversary of playing there. I played a couple times there.
How was like the course seems?
So wait, they told you couldn't go because
No,
you
they
were going to
didn't
fly
say
on
I
a plane?
couldn't. But since if you were not
North Carolina.
driving, he would prefer if he just let the local guys handle it. So, in a sense, yes. So, but you know,
It wasn't a direct no, but
right,
the writing
right.
in between,
Yeah.
read between the lines.
That makes sense.
Hmm.
Politics.
But no, used to you'd have to qualify for the USDGC to get in, and I got lucky, and the Southern Nationals were part of it, and I was big in the Southern Nationals way back then, and that's how I got qualified one year by doing something with Southern National, and then the next year at the National Tour in Bowling Green, tied Andy Ritter, and we had enough to get in. There's a story there too, but we won't get into that one.
Let's
was-
get into it.
Yeah, he was just at the Triple Creek Blitz
Oh,
yesterday.
yeah, and
Andy
Andy's a
Ritter
player.
playing MPO.
Hmm. That was the good old days. Dr. Rick, Andy, and Rocky, and there's some good players from Bowling Green. We called it Blowing Green, obviously. So, but,
Yeah.
you know,
Nice.
we
Wait,
like.
I want to hear the story though of how you got into USDGC or
Okay, so anyway,
the story
I
behind
tied
the story.
Andy Ritter, and it seems as though I knew we were one shot out because that was my objective. Obviously, was to get in the USDGC. But somehow, with Andy being in that position and me being tied with him, the Bowling Green politics kind of worked in my favor, and I received my invitation, even though I thought I was one shot out.
Oh, all right. So
Okay.
some strings were pulled behind closed doors.
Possibly.
and
I'm not
Yeah,
confirming
yeah,
nor
yeah.
denying.
I can neither
such.
confirm nor deny. What year was that you played?
I don't recall.
You said this is 20-year anniversary, so 2000?
01 and 02, or maybe 01 and 03 was
Okay.
when I was at the USDGC.
And with that event, were there like playing competitors? Did you play with any, or what are some things that you remember from playing in that round or playing in those rounds or competing against, or like the ropes and out of bounds? And because it's changed a lot, the course layout, but it's also seems like it's had a lot of similarities, like especially with
It
hole
was
one
kind
and
of a
things like
trick
that.
course where, the inner thing with the trees where you had to get inside the circle of the huge pile of tree or the trees, and then
Yeah.
the other was a Mando through something right there, and the other was an island. It was a little bit trick, and thank God it wasn't long like it is today. Lord,
Yeah.
it was a.
So hole 17 was still pretty.
I
so
don't
like
recall.
The one that
I don't
was
know
like
what the differences
island
are
hole with
because
the,
I'm not that familiar today. But I do know that a couple of them were long, but the courses over 22 years have lengthened considerably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So-
true across the board.
And I didn't have the competition, thank God, that is around today. For me to be able to qualify for the USDGC and
Do you remember a little of the in the bag tuna Thompson style from the USCGC? That would be cool.
What are you talking about? My
What did you
discs?
throw?
yeah. Like, what was your go-to, or
Oh,
what are
this is
some of
funny.
the? Yeah.
One of my first tournaments, it wasn't at the USDGC, but it was at Rock Hill, and of course that's end of a heaven there. And so I was throwing X clones back then because that was a stable of shit, and so I get up there and I said, "Anybody got any X clones?" And everybody kind of looked at me like this. So that was my early advanced tournament.
Okay.
Deal, and that was kind of funny. But I remember whippets. I throw the whippets and the cyclones and the X clones, and I always putted with omegas, and just cause I felt if it's stiff and hits the chains and bounces out one time in a tournament, it's better to throw my omega that's going to stick instead of cutting through. So
Yeah.
if it was worth one shot, I was willing to deal with whatever made that happen.
Yeah.
Nice.
How many discs did you bag?
Usually 15 or 16, I think. That seems like that's about the number.
I'm interested to hear an updated 2020 Mike Tuna Thompson in the bag.
Ah.
Right. Now, how many discs do you bag now?
And first, how often are you playing now? Because I know over the last year, 2 years, you've lost a lot of weight, and I know that's obviously got to include being more physically active. So I'm assuming some of that was disc golf. So are you getting to play a little bit more?
The weight thing was no carbs and no sugar, and that was sticking to that brutally. And the disc, I guess if you added up the age of my discs in my bag, it would equal more than anybody else's bag that I can think of. I throw my old sea Firebirds that I've had in the bag forever, those Star Destroyers. Of course, my Rhinos, which I lost one at Cedar Hill. Please come back. This last Wednesday, I go up to Cedar Hill and play doubles on Wednesday, and that's pretty much what I do on a weekly basis. Sometimes I'll hit Cedar Hill on Sunday. I live close by, That's the extent of my disc golf now. When I first came back, I got into the bag tag and did that for the year, and I think surprised a person or two cashing coming out of the gate, and but then I hurt my knee and the shoulder, blah blah blah. So, but save me, edit. Y'all like that one?
No, it's all good.
So, was disc golf always it for you, or back when things were still overall, was there another event that you kind of gravitated toward? I know everybody kind of had their preference back then, and it wasn't always disc golf. A lot of people were disappointed when disc golf kind of became the more prevalent thing. And then
and in regards to the state tournament having the different categories.
Yeah, like MTA and distance, and
we did
DDC
them all,
and
and it was fun to do it, and we'd do it for a week or two before the tournament, and then that would be it, and that then we'd go back to disc golf, so we would just hit it a little bit, but it was fun doing it. It was different, and a lot of people. I remember freestylers coming in from California to Ken's tournament.
Yeah,
that was cool seeing that, and yep.
Well, we've got a bunch of freestylers here in town that are pretty noteworthy. I mean, Joel Rogers was just inducted into the Flying Disc Hall of Fame this year.
Didn't know that.
Shout out to Joel Rogers. On the merit of his freestyle career. So, listed all of his partners and championships. I'm hoping to have Joel on the podcast at some point soon. He introduced himself to me at Music City Open a couple years back. Really interesting dude. Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting, and now disc golf has taken off so much. And the only other really comparable disc sport that we have going on is Ultimate. And Ultimate right now can't do anything. They are totally shut down. It's not the same scenario as disc golf where we're able to socially distance. It's built into the composition of what we do. But it's, Ultimate is like a contact sport like football or basketball or anything like that. And without extreme measures being taken, it's just you can't participate in it without, within the guidelines of whatever municipality you might find yourself in. So Ultimate has been completely shut down for most of 2020 now. And the PDGA is starting to invest in a kind of a crossover hybrid kind of event. And Sean Sinclair and I are going to be running one at Baby Cane on November 21st, where everybody will play Baby Cane, but with a lid. So it's going to be fun. But it's also, the USA Ultimate, that organization is involved in it. They've made Sean and I admins of the event and all that stuff. So, it's cool stuff. Nice. And it's going to be interesting because now when, people are just trying to get outside and be more active and stuff.
How big are lids? I mean, I've never even seen.
What? Oh, 165s?
Yeah.
You've never seen a lid?
Maybe I've seen it and just not even known,
It's a lid.
I've never tried to throw one. You know,
No,
I never looked at
I
myself
don't
like,
believe
okay,
that
The
for a
beach
second.
discs?
what?
We've had
a
at bag tag championships, like
What?
longest throw, like
What?
Naval Hill last year. We had
The lid?
yeah.
We've had lids out at
Yeah,
all of our bag
yeah,
tags
we-
this year.
About that. Quit leaving me out.
But yeah, we'll go through. I'll
You got to
bring my
learn how to
lid,
flick them, how to bend them, how to turn them over.
put a lot of hyzer on it.
Yeah, lots of hyzer.
Oh,
That's
goodness.
the key. That's the key. Don't throw it
But
somewhere.
I'll be
Who
interested
actually knows how to throw with hyzer?
at Baby Cane, the baskets with a lid, because there's sometimes those baskets are known for throwing out like soft soft putters and like with the lid putting.
You gotta be like slightly nose down, right? Cause
Yeah, you
they're
gotta.
That'd be a good idea for Ogwood hose sponsor, right? Throw a hole with the lid.
It would be cool.
Glow
Oh,
lids.
We typically do have a hole where you have to pull out of a mystery box and throw whatever you pull out of there. And lids have been in the mystery box before.
and everyone may or may not be getting a junior disc that they have to use. But I think that was a mulligan disc last year. You had like 5 mulligans. And
You have
could
5
but you had
mulligans
to throw
that-
it with the junior
yep.
disc like a little bit.
What do you call
smaller.
the halfway minis? Not the real disc, like the one like that one right there.
Junior discs.
Junior? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we're on the
That's
same
what,
page. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So-
everybody at Voodoo Dubs will get one,
Yeah.
and you get 5 mulligans to use throughout the round.
Yeah.
But you have to throw your junior disc.
Yeah.
So.
Junior sheriff. I don't know how it's gonna fly, but
They fly well.
Dude,
yeah.
That is
So
a,
flat,
year-
that's a
flat,
that's a
throw it
buzz.
flat.
Throw them with some hyzer. Don't
The little-
go 100% is probably the best policy.
Yeah, go 200%.
I've seen. I mean, like I know that
Definitely Voodoo Dubs 200% on everything.
I've seen Harper throw a junior disc like 400 feet, like 380 feet.
He's got perfect form, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
come on.
and that was years ago. That was when he was like 13. He was throwing those little. It was one of those little MVP junior discs, and he threw.
Maybe
one of
that's
those,
how we
like,
entice him out to film Bellwitch Open.
Maybe
Hey,
that's
we've got
how
a
we do
distance
it.
competition with this junior.
We've been talking real nice about you on the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been
Mine is
watching.
signed by Johansson.
Oh,
Nice.
the buzz.
It's bomb.
Yeah.
Junior Buzz. Yeah, so we're moving into another season of disc golf that we have no clue about what we're going to be allowed to do. Like, you know, COVID is still there's no
And
end in sight, and it's been the weirdest year ever.
Nashville, Davidson County, they just announced a mask mandate till the end of the year because this is a hotbed of cases. So it's at least through January, it's going to be business as usual with the mask and everything. So it's
I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast, as I often do, the episode that he just recently did with Roy Jones Jr., and he was talking about somebody was doing some kind of research and showing that, like, historically with pandemics, it's an 18-month cycle. Like Spanish flu, all these different pandemics that have happened, they've kind of fizzled out after like an 18-month life cycle.
I'll be interested to see how the flu, because a lot of times coronavirus's other strains are like the same. You get the flu and you have that and coronavirus, but it's one of these other strains. Because we check for coronavirus on multiple samples throughout the year. There's like 3 or 4 that we check for, not COVID-19. That's like a special swab. But I'm interested to see how the flu season changes this and if it makes people build up more immunity or less immunity, or is the flu, is it going to be worse flu season or not as bad flu season? So
Well, you would
there's
think
a lot of what ifs.
you would think
coming
that
in this.
like the scenario, like the circumstances that lead to having a flu season, the behavioral changes that happen in colder months
Right.
that cause people to be more in closed spaces together and higher numbers. That's not going to change.
Right.
And so if there's a flu season, there's a COVID season. And I definitely think that through the winter, it's going to be probably really rough.
I was also just thinking about Thanksgiving and Christmas. I mean, that's the biggest time families get together. Like, I don't know what's going to happen this year. Like,
Mask it up. The mask on that
Zoom
turkey.
Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. That's gonna be a new meme. The mask on a turkey.
Yeah, exactly.
We put a mask on everything else. I saw Robert
Yeah.
Robert Zavala. Him and his wife went to Metropolis, Illinois,
Casino?
for their anniversary.
Shout out to the home of
Is it
Superman.
Casino?
Yeah, there's a riverboat there.
I won a casino. I won a poker tournament there.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Nice.
Beat out 40 people.
Damn.
4K.
Okay.
4K.
I used to go to the Rio and do $100 10-man sit and goes.
Dude, I'm telling you right now.
Nice.
I went there with
loved it.
4 of my friends. I had, I think, like $200 to my name. The tournament was $150. I bought one glass of wine because at that point wine wasn't free for that casino. And I think I had probably like $35 left or something. And I tipped her probably like, I don't know, $5 or $10 or something. And I was like, I'm going to sit and drink this one glass of wine the whole tournament.
Yeah.
And I did. Seriously, I did. And I ended up winning. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, let's go to the Huddle House. So I bought everybody like food or whatever. And
Nice.
it's not a Waffle House up there. It's a Huddle House.
Yeah,
And
that's
we were
near
all-
my neck of the woods.
Huddle House is dope too, man. But not if it's like it has to be like you walk in and you can tell if it's
come on.
somewhat clean. Because like the one in
Yeah.
Dunlap, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Because we used to always go camp at my aunt's place in Dunlap when we would go to
Okay.
play Chains on the Links
Yeah.
in Saudi Daisy. And we would go by the Huddle House in Dunlap, and that place was ghetto. Like, totally disgusting as soon as you walk in, and it always made you sick.
Oh.
So, like, we had tried it like 2 times, but I've been in places where the Huddle House is like, oh my gosh, they have a Huddle House? I'm in. We're rocking the Huddle House today.
Emporia.
Is that like the opposite of like Waffle House? The Waffle House doesn't look that good. They make great food.
Yeah. It's pretty much the same thing.
The
Same
Huddle
thing.
House at Emporia, Kansas,
Same
because that diner, the Main Street diner, was closed, and we went there like on a
The Emporia Huddle House
I think it was a Monday,
legit.
and Johnny McRae was eating there when we were eating there.
Yeah.
So I mean, they gave a stamp of approval.
Yep.
So
Emporia Huddle
If
House
it's good
is
enough for
definitely on the
Johnny.
up and
You
up.
know that the
Commercial
Reminds me
Street
of a-
Diner.
It
though.
reminds me of a commercial. Go ahead. Go ahead.
the disc golf relation to the poker comes in from I used to hit Bud Hill 2-3 times a year. The tournaments, all the time. Every tournament, Bud Hill, I was there.
Love Bud Hill.
And then we kind of diverted off over to Tunica to, hit a few days in Tunica, mix it in with the tournament. And then it got to the point where, oh, hell, we're going to stay in Tunica instead of go hit the tournament. And that's when I was playing poker. Moneymaker was doing his thing, and there was so many people doing it. And I've been playing Hold'em poker since I was 16 probably. And so, I've got many hands under my belt. But that's how it kind of correlated from disc golf to Tunica.
Yeah.
And then,
Tuna-
I'd
Tunica.
go to Vegas and hit the WSOP and just hit those fringe tables with the 10-man sit and goes because it didn't matter how much money you had. You're in a tournament, you start with the same amount.
Yeah.
You can't be big boy bullied,
Right. Exactly.
So and I was cashing 70% of those sit and goes. I can play my poker. I enjoy that.
combined event, poker and disc golf.
Yeah, that was
Hey,
Tunica
they
and
always
Bud
play
Hill.
poker late into the night
Mm-hmm.
at Ogween
I heard about this.
on
Yeah.
Saturday night. J Ray gets down. I mean, everybody goes in on
The
some
ping
poker.
pong table.
And they want Tuna to be
doubles.
the dealer, or otherwise it'll take twice as long. Ask Philip.
Yeah.
You got the dealer chops.
Oh yeah, I can sling them out there.
Heck yeah.
I do know a lot of disc golf. There is something about disc golf and poker. There's some connection there. Like
I mean, it's a strategy game.
same, yeah. That a lot. What about
Requires
chess?
requires a lot of mental acuity.
Do you
And
play
that's why you
chess
see
as well?
chess going on at Seven Oaks. You see chess
Yeah.
being played at Ogwood.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that.
Even at Cedar Hill,
like the
Yep,
same.
yep,
the boys on Wednesday are sitting there playing it before.
yep.
It's funny.
And that's I think that's incredibly encouraging to see. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
because chess is a historical game of mental strategy. I mean,
Well, I was just thinking of one of the guys I know that plays a lot of chess. Shout out to Dr. John Williams.
Oh, really?
We just did he and Ross Bishop, I believe, play a lot. But shout out to him. We've been talking about this Doc versus Doc challenge for a year since the Paige Pierce doubles event. We took this picture back to back. Like, we need to do a Doc versus Doc challenge, raise some money for a local charity. And we finally started it. We had our first event last Thursday at Seven Oaks. Played 21 holes. We did match play format. We actually tied. We took video.
No way.
And so we were going to push to, because it was getting dark, so we didn't have time for a playoff. But we're donating all the proceeds to or not just proceeds, anybody that donates to us, all that money is going to the Second Harvest Food Bank of Middle Tennessee.
That's amazing.
And we just started. We're like, maybe we'll play a new course for every $20 raised. We've already raised about $480.
That's huge.
That's amazing,
We're like,
Say little bro.
we need to, like, people are giving us $50, $200. Like, it's blown out of the water. And then we're gonna try to go to Nashboro. That's gonna be probably our next one. Shout out to Jesse Coe.
Oh yeah.
He made a donation, and we're gonna try to get somebody to film this time because we had the camera, but we kept like having to pass it back. Like,
That was
all right, it's
hilarious.
your shot, and then
That
it's
was the
like-
greatest thing
yeah,
ever.
it's like your shot, and then you have to like pass it to them, and
I've
then
got
if somebody
camera
threw a
stands,
bad
bro.
shot, then it's like you don't get the camera yet because you still have to. You're still up. Like,
I got camera stands for days. Just let me know.
yeah, we need something. Well, we said we're basically pay for somebody's golf cart. And
Dude,
their-
Marcus
their
needs to
adult
be the one
bever-
that does it, so we
their-
have video clips for the podcast.
They're
too.
adult beverages.
True. Very true.
So you'll be your own camera crew. So
If I come, I can play. I can bring a chessboard. We can play chess at the same time. I taught chess.
you did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't
I
talk
was,
checkers.
I was president in high school and college. Super nerd. So
Hell yeah, man.
I'm ready to take on a dog. Just let them know.
Yeah.
I was in the
I'm-
chess club in middle school.
Hello.
I'm not that good at chess.
Yeah, my mom's boyfriend when I was real young had me training up on chess strategy.
One summer,
Fisher, Bobby.
I learned how to play chess. This camp that I went to, there's this guy that was really good at chess. He played in all his teams in high school, and I learned chess. My brother came up for like a parents' weekend, and I'm like, let me teach you this game, chess. And we're playing. He beats me 5 times in a row. I'm like, I thought I was big, hot shot, knew how to play chess. And I'm like, man, my brother's got these strategy games. So he also plays poker. So
Yeah.
and he plays disc golf. So chess, poker, disc golf. This could be like
What more
a
could you need?
Yeah.
triathlon.
The
Turn that into yeah.
The new overall event, the
Yeah,
new overall
exactly.
championship is going to include disc golf, cornhole, and
Yeah, what else can we add? to
Poker.
strategy?
You got to
Yeah.
get 1 point of each.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
6 points
we're
wins.
running out of room to add activities to Halloween at Dogwood. We might have to start branching out a little bit.
A Billy
We can
Madison.
throw in like a bowling
Cat-
too. You know,
Wait, do you bowl, Tuna?
Used to.
Okay.
Used to.
dude,
Somebody-
never bowl before playing disc golf. Okay, just it messes
Oh
up.
yeah. And your
It's
arm.
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can. If you bowl a bunch and then you like got to go the
Yeah.
next day.
My
If you do a
arm.
bunch of lopping,
I got
you know, you're
bowling
like
arm.
working on a
Dude,
course.
there's
and then you
definitely
gotta,
such a thing as lopper arm and weed eater arm.
yeah.
That shit is real.
But that's
Tonight-
what Telly said about working on forehand. Go out and do some yard work, clean up a course.
Yeah, he had an exercise for each tool in
Yeah,
a different part of your game that it would improve.
yeah.
I think we're
What were
gonna
you
take.
about to say, Tuna?
No, go
Oh.
ahead.
Nothing.
Well, I remember the bag tag championship. The finale party was at the bowling alley. I don't know how many years
Our awards
ago.
banquet. Yeah, we
Yeah.
do that
Awards.
there every year. Yeah.
Oh, and watching the guys out there bowling, I was quite impressed. Pretty good bowlers out there. There are some disc golfers.
It's accuracy sports, man. I mean, like, you see a lot of people that are really good at disc golf are also good at darts. Like, shout out to Q-Tip Barry.
Yep.
He also competes at darts. Bowling, a lot of different accuracy sports.
Yeah.
I think it translates well.
Oh.
It's just the same skill set, the same muscle kind of control.
And on a separate thought, I think I won the Masters champion bag tag that year. And the person that won it the following year said they got first place, and they wished it was champion instead of first place. I just came to my mind. I don't know.
Oh,
Wait, you mean the trophy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I think we usually do first, second, third.
Yeah,
So
we have for years.
Champion, second, third. Maybe it would
Hey.
be.
That's a good move.
That is, yeah.
Word
Breaking
from the wise.
exclusive bag tag championship 2020 MCDG.
Wise men say if you're going to have a championship, crown a champion.
That's
Not a
true.
first placer.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like it.
Sage wisdom, my friend.
Somebody's on.
This
the
is
phone.
why we have you over here, man.
Exactly.
And we're just barely starting to open up this whole can of worms that's about to be exposed.
Scratching the surface.
Yeah, we're just talking logistics right at this point. We haven't gotten into the fun stuff yet.
Okay.
But I think we're going to probably take a little break real quick. We can insert some fun video clips of something. I'm sure we have some kind of video clips we can put in here.
We can always find some cat videos if we can't find anything.
Yeah.
Cats playing disc golf.
I do have a bunch of pictures of my cats that I've taken recently. So, but yeah, we'll take a quick break, bathroom break. We'll come back in just a moment. And, yeah. Ha!
He was gonna hit the button, turn on the red light.
I hit the red light.
That means recording started. Then the show.
So don't say anything incriminating.
We are right back on the podcast, yo.
Yep.
Hey, because we need some fans.
We're going
and
live,
shares.
not going live.
And we are here.
And we got political on the break. So this is going to be fun.
Politico?
Politics.
Politico?
Sup?
Is that Spanish?
Political.
I think we got Tuna warmed up. I think he's a little bit more acclimated to the atmosphere of the Sapphire Lounge. I think maybe he kind of has more of a grasp of the way we do things here. Because there really is no real way
I appreciate your
No rules, just right. Whoa, Will's breaking the chair.
No.
Oh, no, that one has like this special. It's like two switches back there.
Yeah,
It's
it's
got the
crazy.
switches.
I got
Hit
like
the switches.
Yeah, it's
I got,
old school,
I got
man.
too many
Hit
switches.
yeah.
I'm flipping them switches.
Yeah.
You heard?
What was that they used to say? We don't want to say that on the podcast, but it was like a tuner term. Like Zach Evans used to have a bumper sticker probably that said hitting switches and then something else that rhymes with that. But we won't go there because we don't want to get canceled.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
effing itches.
Hitting switches and scratching it.
It's like one of those tuner phrases
Yeah.
where, like, you know, if you worked at an auto parts store in a small town
Oh.
and guys with Honda Civics would come to your store and then they'd come in and they would say something like, I don't know, man, I think it's the flux capacitor. And then the guy behind the counter would be like, fucking tuner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were trying to like say tuna in a weird way, and I was
No,
like,
no,
huh?
tuner is totally different than tuna.
Okay.
But that is an interesting.
Correlation.
Have
Parallel.
you ever been deep sea fishing?
Yes. Got a story.
Uh-oh. Great question there.
Shark.
Hey, I just want to point out,
Dr.
I wanna
Random.
point out, not Dr. Random at all. Dr. Hoy's grandfather is a world famous psychic.
Boom. The Incredible Life of Dr. Hoy, Super Psychic.
My grandfather was a world-class fisherman. However, we went shark fishing in Panama City one night just for the weekend. So they get one in the boat. It's probably 4 feet long. They shoot it in the head, hang it up on the side of the boat. We're drinking Crown Royal, yeehawing. And about 3 hours later, Fred reaches over and says, look at this shark I caught, and taps that thing on the belly. And about that time, the head comes up and smashes the teeth about this far from Fred's arm.
What?
And, yeah, so we drank some more Crown and was glad that Fred still had his arm.
I guess they missed a kill shot?
No, and then the dude put about 6 more bullets in his head.
Jaws'
Dang.
cousin.
Yeah,
That
very
was straight
surgical
up.
with
Yeah,
that
I was there
gunshot
for
there.
3 hours and then had
Oh
the
my
reaction to
gosh.
freaking,
Yeah, I bet you had you'd probably had to calm down for a
pretty
little
good
bit
story.
after that.
It's
Yeah,
real.
no,
that's fact.
yeah, you could be on the
Tuna.
smoking.
It wasn't my arm; it was Fred's arm. Thank God.
Smashing
fishing.
birdies and wrestling sharks.
They go
What's-
where you throw them.
Wicked tuna or smoked tuna or
Yeah, what were you fishing for? Was it tuna?
TV shows?
Shark.
Shark.
We knew nothing of the implication of tuna
Tuna
at
inception.
8 years old.
Tuna shark. Premonition.
Tuna shark, dude.
So, Tuna, let's get below the surface with you, man. What are outside of disc golf, obviously? What are you passionate about? Is it what lights your fire?
Poker.
Okay.
Play a lot of online poker. Probably got 300,000 hands in.
Damn.
Yeah.
Just because you never know what's coming, and you got to play the odds and
Yeah.
know what people are doing and probably what they have by the way they bet. So that's enjoyable. I'm remodeling my basement.
That's exciting.
Carpenter hat, electrician hat, yeah, all that. No fun,
Don't get electrocuted.
but
It always takes longer to do something in your own house, right?
yes, sir. Even though the commute's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the winning commute.
Like, oh man, I can knock
Right, downstairs.
I can knock this out in 3 hours, like 3 days later.
Yeah.
Oh, where's that paint?
So did I answer your question, sir?
Yeah, I think so.
I had a question actually. Did you used to play in the MCO, or have you played in the MCO, or what are some of the
I think
tournaments
the
you
Music
played
City
in
Open
Nashville?
was at some point a tournament that I started way back in the day.
I don't tell. Hey.
Oh,
Not of course we had the state,
Yeah.
and then I think I got I think I did the Music City Open in 97 or 8 or both
Okay.
or more. And so, yeah, back then, but now it's, I got married 15 years ago, so that took me out of the competitive aspect. And, now it's more casual. I enjoy the competition, but I'm not, I like being competitive, and I'm
Right.
not anymore, as, obviously. So, but maybe I'm fixing to turn 60, so
Hey.
that'll get me into a new category
new
that
category
I might
opens
be
up.
able to kick some ass.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. I like it. You got to have that confidence first.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
The
When
putting
you
green.
can't putt, where do you get
I
confidence
saw
from?
you at the putting. We had a putting league last year at Little Harpeth Brewery, and instead of the Wednesday night putt extravaganza, and I saw you out there several times, and you were taking down some people.
Yeah,
saw you.
sometimes you can get in that frame, but very
Yeah.
rarely.
Yeah.
I got in the cash that night by hitting
Yeah.
the dude told me like 13, the last 13 in a row, but that was the only way I got in after my start. So
Yeah.
you just got to get in that frame somehow, and it's hard to do. And I used to tell people playing tournaments that, when you're at the course with your buds, Kaz, you're hitting the gap you've got given. When you're in the tournament with the people you're not as confident with, you're trying to avoid the obstacles. So you're focusing on the obstacles instead of the gap, and that's where the problems begin.
sounds like
Yeah.
tip of the week.
Mental.
I was thinking the same.
No way. So, Tuna,
So is it,
we do a tip of the week here. So is that your tip for the people? Just a tip, though. Yeah.
Just the tip.
With Tuna Thompson.
I suppose.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
Yeah, don't focus on the obstacles. Focus on the gap like you're in a casual round. I'll go with that.
Boom.
One
Almost
obstacle
a
at a
little
time.
life philosophy as well.
Yeah, one obstacle at a time.
Well, you're focusing on what you're not going to hit versus what you are going to hit.
Right.
And your putt's not going in if in your mind it's not going in.
Yeah.
Because you hear people say, like, let me give this a soft run. That already means that you're not trying to hit it. Like, you're either hitting
Yeah,
it or,
right.
Do or do not.
Well,
There's
but
no
some people,
try.
I guess, have the skill. I've always been a soft putter because I didn't want a comebacker
Yeah.
versus the hardy type that's zooming at it and hitting
Yeah.
90% of them. But then, shit, he's got a 30%, 30-foot comebacker. But hell, he can make that too.
He'll
So.
make that
Yeah.
too. Yeah, sure.
Although they
So-
get a lot tougher in tournament competition, those comebackers, when you're, like, running it and then especially on, like, elevated baskets.
Exactly. And
There's-
then those factors have increased,
Yeah.
more elevated, more down, And shout out to Wayno Brown in Nashville from way back. This dude go up to a 60 and not even sweat it. Bam, you know.
Yeah, I played with Wayno.
Huh?
I played with Wayno.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Wayno
those
was badass.
I don't
black
know.
putters, magnets, right, or
Little
something
soft
like
magnets.
that. And he would have a thumbprint in his putter that
Oh,
was
yeah.
like all the way.
And then he'd slap his,
Yeah.
thigh. The few times he'd miss, he'd just wear his thigh out.
He had more spin on anybody. Like
I know.
the spin on his putt, it was crazy.
Well, no, he broke his arm or something and wasn't able to drive for a year, and so he putted for 6 months, and that's how you can go bang a 60 and not even think about it.
Keep
I think he
putting.
lives up in Virginia now.
Yeah.
Keep putting. Get that routine down. And I know that a lot of people talk about the getting set, because a lot of people walk up, it seems like, in practice putting and just have 10 putters sitting there and not move their feet. And
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people talking now, like, you got to do your whole routine,
Your whole routine.
for each
Do the-
putt. And
I don't know. Yeah. It's,
Well, I mean,
it's up and down because
yeah.
there's like I guess muscle memory involved because
Right.
Shout out to Stone, second
Yeah.
place. He definitely
he had a
gets up
very
and
hot
putts.
first round. He could not miss.
This guy gets up and
I
putts 100 times a day almost.
Yeah.
So it's definitely repetition because you see him putting in his house, like a little camera set up and
Yeah.
all his YouTube.
Hashtag keep putting.
Yeah. Hashtag. There you go.
He says
Yeah,
he just does 500 before a week before the competition. 500 a night putts.
I believe it.
So
Yeah. he's ready.
But he shot a 1050 on the first
That's
round.
insane.
That is.
He
I had one
Triple Creek
over-
Blitz, he shot a 12 down, and it was
If he can do that again, if he can replicate that,
Oh yeah, Stone's got it.
That'll
He'll be doing
definitely
some
add,
things.
And
minimum
this new
6
dude,
points to your score.
Little
Yeah.
Caleb Webster, man. This dude, I played with him.
yeah.
He is an amazing driver and throwing in 50s like it ain't nothing. So, you
Yeah.
know, and he's young. He's so young.
He's
No
fearless.
fear.
Awesome.
Yeah,
No
and that's
fear.
yeah, that's
exactly.
it right there. You got no fear. You can just like putt like
Yeah.
you want to, and you're actually more smooth and more confident, and you don't have to worry about distractions. You just get up and just do your thing, and you know whether you hit it or miss it. You know, he's like whatever. I got no fear.
They were talking about that in
Hadn't got the fear between the ears yet.
watching the
Mhm.
U.S. Open and traditional golf, and they were talking about older players on tour, like Tiger Woods is now like above 40, and just your mental game on putts. They showed numbers, and just like after a certain age, the average just goes down significantly of like your average of longer putts, like how many you hit, and then just your average of like inside 10 feet or whatever, more of a gimme range is. And it's mainly a mental game. 'Cause,
Well, I'll
you
tell
think
you.
physically you could still
Yeah.
hit a putt. Like you can still do all the things,
Right, but when I won the Super Tour down in Brooksville, Florida, my only Super Tour win, the last 3 holes, I swear to you, my knees were knocking like this on the tee pad. I flailed on the tee pad, made a miracle upshot to 30, 35 foot, and hit the 30, 35 footers 3 times in a row to beat the PDGA commissioner by 1 shot. And that was it, but that was uncontrollable. And that shows you the difference between your tournament mentality and you're just out Kaz with the boys, you know. And especially when you get down to the last couple holes being up by 1 with 3 to go.
Yeah.
And it was just uncontrollable. That was personal. That's what happened to me. It was something I'll never forget, you know.
I've heard people say that I've never been in that position to get that nervous. Been on lead card, but they say they pop up and then they get on lead card and then they're like they can't hold their disc or they're
Yeah.
trying to like they can't let go of their
And
disc.
it's
it's
freaking
like-
controllable.
Yeah. But then I guess you go there and then you learn how to
Mm.
try to harness it a little bit. and
Never
that's-
got back to that
Yeah.
point, but yeah.
well, and
Well,
then
you
Sounds great.
look at now where the best players in the world are throwing 500-foot average, and we've got these courses extending out to incredible lengths, and payouts are higher than ever before. I mean, that pressure, like, and then to appreciate even more the victories, like where you've got Kevin Jones and Haley King winning $20,000 apiece at the Pro Tour Championship. Everybody keeps talking about, when disc golf is going to be legitimate and mainstream, and like it's now. Like we're becoming legitimate for sure.
Well, look, Paul Macbeth and Ricky, they couldn't make the final. I mean, they did make the final. It's not their game
It's
because
an
it was
upset.
one round. Like
Well,
they usually have 4 rounds to do it, but it was one round, and you're
Will
Done.
ESPN say anything about the payout?
I'm sure they will. It's all post-production that's going to come out next month.
Yeah. I don't. We'll have to see, but I think.
Well, I guess just by me saying that, like, viewers will be happy to see, like, oh, cool, they're actually getting money, you know.
Well, plus after the final round, after the final putts went in, they had Haley and Kevin both holding up oversized checks.
Yeah.
So they had the big cardboard
Yeah.
check over their head. So, I mean, that's another, step in legitimacy. So shout out to Jeff Spring and the Pro Tour for what they've done with
Golf snaps.
Yeah, golf snaps.
Oh, sorry, snap.
Yeah, we do
Not up on
golf
this
snaps
shit.
on the podcast.
Sometimes we clap.
It's not a
like,
disruptive
loud.
for the microphones, I guess. Plus, we start smacking stuff when we start trying to clap our hand.
Well, I saw, like, thinking of the distance now, I saw Eagle make a post about changing. I mean, I think he was just making a post to talk, bigger discussion, but changing circle 1 to, like, 50 feet. So you can't jump with inside of 50 or 60 or whatever you want at 40, 50, 60. Right now it's 33 and a third, 10 meter circle 1. But talking about how good they are at circle 1. I mean, you look at these percentages and they'll be like, 90% the winner, like, for the MPO field. And so, and step putting, it's always under more. People
more
are
scrutiny.
More scrutiny.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. Like,
There was no step putting way back in the
yeah,
day.
and I feel the
Yeah,
same
they
way that
stand-
I feel that I'm only 5'9.5", 5'10" or something like that. What day it is, what shoes I've got on. I don't need to jump putt outside of maybe 50. Just so I kind of feel them right there, because like at 50, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I definitely have to jump putt. But if I'm like 35, I'm like 40, I can still do my same exact putt.
Yeah.
How often do you see Paul Smith doing a jump putt? And he makes tremendous long putts. You know?
Right.
And he makes them look really easy from like 33 and like 40
Yeah.
and like 50 sometimes. And you're thinking to yourself, like, okay, well, what did he do different?
Eagle as well.
Yeah.
He doesn't like.
But he's also got the height. So I really don't understand, like, when tall people be like, oh, well, all you got to do, like, hey, man, you're like, a good 4 foot taller than most people out here.
Yeah.
And if you're taller than people, unfortunately, it makes some things easier. And
Right.
hey, longer putts may seem easier
Yeah.
to you if you're taller and you're
Right.
putting down instead of.
Right, because Calvin Heimberg's got a really good putting percentage too.
Yeah.
So, and he's tall.
He's tall. And, who else is out there? It's Adam Hines is semi-tall. We said Eagle already. Simon's
Well, look
tall.
at Nico and Emerson Keith, man. They got when their putting's on now,
Yeah, when their putting's on. True.
but they can hit long ones and just do their regular routine.
Nico's known
Nico-
for a step putt, right?
Yeah, he does have the step putt.
I mean, honestly, with all the the conversation about foot faults and jump putts
Yeah.
that is just ongoing
Yeah,
on social media,
Every
I think it's
video-
only a matter of time until the jump putt is just no longer a thing.
Yeah.
I think there's a rules update coming at some point in the semi near future,
Right.
where you're just not going to be allowed to jump putt from any range, because it's just there's too many variables. One, I mean, how like you're going to be unable to capture it without 3 officials standing there from different angles,
Right.
staring at the person's lie
Right.
as they release their putt.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way to. I mean, everybody gets upset about it because they can see it on the coverage, and they can slow-mo, and they
Right.
can rewind,
Yeah.
and they can do all these things. And then after the fact, it doesn't matter. It's a
Right.
self-policing sport.
Yeah.
If the group didn't call it, it's a moot point. And that's a whole other bag of tricks that we could get into. But
Yep.
at the end of the day, I mean, I remember, and I think I've told this story on the podcast before, I went to Bowling Green with Ed Birdie and Curtis Schreiber one time right before a Bowling Green AM championship, and we played Lover's Lane, Ephraim White, and Holler in the Hills. And at one point, I was jump putting, and Ed just kind of came to me by myself and was like, "Just stand and deliver.
Yeah.
You're making this way too complicated."
How about A tiers and NTs?
Yeah.
50-foot circle 1, bullseye baskets only. Oh my bad.
I heard Nashboro now has the bullseye
No way.
baskets.
Yeah, they put bullseye baskets in.
Yeah.
So
Ephraim White was my only over 1,000 rated round. In my
Boom.
really,
Nice.
Different
And
weight.
I had a lucky break because the Masters played the morning round, and then it got really windy for the second round with the pros.
I think you're talking into the wrong part of your mic, buddy.
Got it.
Fuck.
There you go. Now
There
you
you
can, we can hear you now. Yeah.
So
We just don't want
Oh,
to
now you sound. Yeah, get that.
Yeah.
We want to hear that bass. Give us that bass.
All about that bass.
Give
About
us that bass.
start over
just
with that
like-
shit.
There you go.
WJZM.
Bringing you the smooth sounds
Efren
of
White
tuna.
was the
Tuna in
only
the Sapphire Lounge. Marcus
course
is wearing
that I
Nashville
shot
Disco
over
Store
1,000
shirt today.
rated
Shout out to
rounds.
Nashville Disco
Yeah.
Store.
I'll
Yeah.
throw it back out there.
Yeah,
Shit,
I like
fuck.
it. I like it.
So Ephraim White, what year was that? Your 1,000 rated round? Rough.
02, 01.
02. I played it the first time, I think, in like 2015.
Yep. Actually, talking about standing putts instead of jump putts, I started putting from longer distances out just with a rock. I started playing too many rounds with Rodney,
Yeah, true.
and I'm like, wait, this works, man. You get extra glide, and it's
Well,
Yeah,
I'm-
it's the extra glide, and some putters are very reactive to the conditions, and it seems like
Yeah.
rocks and mid ranges in particular. When you put a little more spin on it, it will hold a little straighter.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not like shorting your putts, if you're being a good,
Yeah.
clean, strong putter, then
that,
that's gonna work for you.
that
Because
goes
it
to
hit
what
that line,
Mark Stern used to say, don't throw it in,
go through it,
fly it in.
fly it in.
So you're getting the disc to fly instead of just a direct dart.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And that reflects exactly what you just said.
yeah.
You gotta get the disc to fly.
Yeah, I had a disc resting on top yesterday, and it was a yellow disc, and they were using the yellow in the
Mhm.
temp course, the yellow end of a disc catchers.
Right.
And I was like mad at myself. I'm like, can anyone see my disc? I was trying to lighten the mood because like, man, I'm just
Getting one to stick on top of the basket is
it's-
tough.
Yeah,
That's a hard thing to
I
do.
argued for an extra stroke. Not
Yeah.
getting an extra.
That should be an ace.
Yeah, unsuccessfully.
Yeah, of course.
I also missed 3 5-footers yesterday because mental lapses.
Wow.
5 footers.
I told myself
5-footers.
before. One was a 7-footer, but I told myself, man, this is close. I'm probably gonna miss this putt because there was like a little
Oh,
branch,
It's never going in.
Yeah.
and I was like, this.
Your brain
yeah.
doesn't think it's going
So,
in. Period.
I got to
goes-
work on the mental game.
That goes to that rule. You can't be like,
Ears.
don't hit that tree because your
Yeah.
body doesn't understand the word
Yeah.
don't. You just think, oh, hit that tree. That's what your body hears. And then, if you say don't hit the
I
chains.
fell into a trap. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
It's a trap.
yeah, exactly.
Going back to intermediate.
Trap in my mind. No, never. Ride or die MPO.
Yeah. Shout out to DJ Wicks for
Yeah.
playing.
Taking down the Triple Creek Blitz.
Yeah, especially
yesterday.
being able
Comeback.
to overcome that hot round from Stone Smith where
Yeah.
he just couldn't miss.
No, he could not miss. I was playing with D. Hamilton, Andrew Lamont, and Stone the first round, and we were like, this guy, he walked up and like one time he missed like a 50-footer, and we all like, whoa, like we were genuinely
That's
surprised
surprising.
he missed that, and it hit chains and fell right to the side. So I mean, it
Doesn't
wasn't,
that suck?
yeah, but it was he
Feel
was
for the
on a
guy.
run.
I don't know if anybody defends their course like DJ Wicks does.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's
He's like, yeah, Triple Creek's mine. Just anybody want to come out there, he'll take that challenge any day of the week.
although bag tag, it's not sanctioned. It's not a sanctioned event, but Benell took him down at the bag tag this year.
Shout out to
Triple Creek.
Benell. Benell finished top 15 in MCO.
Yeah,
I think top 5.
Yeah,
top 10.
He was
Yeah.
definitely top 10. He was top 5 in the Madisonville Open a couple weeks before.
and he just shot because also Chains on the Links was this weekend.
Yeah.
and he just
He went and played that.
shot well. I didn't know.
No, I said he did.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful
But
course.
Joey Lutz shot like a 44.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
a
Joey
1080
Lutz tore it
round,
up.
second round. and
He's got a different mindset. If you watch Joey right now, he's definitely homed his game in. He seems like
he
more.
was on lead card second round of MCO. I mean, he was not just. I mean, he was right there. So shout out to Joey Lutz.
just Benell.
His forehand
Yeah,
is, I mean, one of the best I've seen.
it's been good for a long time, and
Yeah.
just like changing plastics, going to different. From where'd he come from? He was with before.
I forgot. Lutz?
Yeah.
Justin Bennell was tied for second place at Chains on the Links
Yeah.
with Dylan Wooten. So
Yeah.
Joey Lutz in first place. Dylan Wooten and Justin Bennell tied for second. Chris Orick, Clint Berner, Brandon Brown, James Snappy Cole, Jordan Davidson, Bo McLaughlin, Nathan Lavender, Chase Van Berkeley, Logan Bowers, Harper Thompson.
What? Chase got Logan? Oh, yeah.
They
Shout out
tied.
to Chase.
They
Oh,
tied.
that's oh, okay. Sorry, Chase. But yeah, I like the fact that like all of the disc golfers the majority of them that were at MCO were all set the chains.
Yeah.
You know.
I always wanted to go to that tournament. Heard
Chains
good
on the
things.
Links is one of the most amazing tournaments in the world. Shout out to Kevin Turner, the TD of Chains on the Links.
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lot from watching Kevin Turner work that event. He's like you. He's super organized, like
Yeah.
into the details. It's his thing.
Right.
And he just runs a solid, tight event, man.
Yeah.
And those that property, Montlake Golf Course, it is just impressive.
The elevation there is really fun. Off the bat, that first shot, you know, you're coming off this huge mountainside. It feels like it's iconic. Everything about it's really
Giant boulders and rock formations on the
Oh, yeah.
rock course, and then on the lake course, you got water shots and
Yeah.
more open stuff.
Right.
How far away is that?
Maybe somewhere near Chattanooga.
It's
Saudi-
right outside
Saudi
of
Daisy.
Chattanooga. Yeah.
I got a full scholarship to Sewanee, the School of the South, right around the
Sewanee?
corner from Sewanee.
Swanee.
Obviously, I didn't go.
Don't even know how to say it.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, they had they didn't have the mathematics and
Disc
engineering
golf
I was looking for.
sponsorship?
I am from Knoxville. Will Shoestrick's from Knoxville. We should have been playing together for a long time, and they were actually playing at Morningside Park across the street from my grandmother's house, and I could have had disc golf in my life a long time ago, which is really, really
Could have been a
interesting.
contender.
Yeah, like Morningside Park, like right across the street from my
Nice.
grandmother's house, and like
Yeah.
could have been like, what? Hey, look at this scrawny kid. Hey, what you got there? You know,
Yeah.
whole conversation could have happened.
I feel like we've talked a little bit about mentioned the bag tag championship, so we gotta bring up that because that's one of our big events too that's coming up.
Yeah, for sure. Unfortunately, you know, we normally do it at Shelby Golf Course, and we get to set up a temporary 18-hole course on their front nine, and we get to play with golf carts and team music and clubhouse access and all that stuff. And they're still closed for tornado repair.
Yep.
They got hit hard by the tornadoes back in March. And, Shelby Golf Course is still shut down. And we ended up with limited time to make an alternative plan. And so what we are doing is September 14th and 15th, we're going to Cedar Hill.
November 14th and 15th.
Did I say October?
You said
No, you said
September.
September?
You're-
Wow, I'm way off.
Just a couple
November, I'm going back in time
Yeah,
rather than
exactly.
forward in time. That's what the Music City Open will do to you.
Yes, it will.
It'll scramble your brain.
And right now, I'm really not thinking about anything except Halloween. But yeah. So November 14th and 15th, Saturday and Sunday, and men will be at Cedar Hill. Saturday the 14th, all pro men and all women will be Sunday.
Yep.
Tell them about it, Dr. Hoy.
Basically, we're keeping the cost down because we can't do the golf. Like usually, the cost is a little bit more expensive for the bag tag championship, and so this year it's the same cost as every other bag tag event: $20 for pro, $15 for am. Saturday, November 14th, it's the amateur men, and the registration is already live for this week for the top 3 in each amateur division and each pro division, and so. We call it invitation only. Basically, you've had to have played one bag tag event at least once the whole year. So if you haven't played one bag tag event, unfortunately, you're not able, because we have so many people, and it's basically an incentive to, play and compete in the bag tag events. We do have the updated points, so you can look and see where you stand. And basically, it uses your email when you register that you used for your bag tag sign up, your membership sign
Your
up
membership
with the
form
Music
for
City
this
Disc Golf.
year, yeah. And also, good to mention, part of the reason why we moved to a 2-day format and split up the divisions is because we are now pushing 400 members of the club.
Yeah.
And with our previous format at Shelby Golf Course, shout out to us.
And to Nashville.
Under our previous format, we were only able to get about 100 people in one day because of frost delay.
Gas bleep.
It wasn't me.
His face.
Yeah,
Everybody
was a
that
good
can't
one.
smell that has COVID-19. But no. So, yeah, we're trying to get more people in. So we're
Yeah.
getting about 150, 160
Right.
people in each day. And so that equals out to about 300 plus,
Right.
which is more on par with the size of our membership. So that
And
was the
Sunday
overall
is
plan.
the amateur women, and pro men. And the layout, any amateur and any woman will play a modified FPO layout from MCO. So you're going to be able to test yourself against the top people that competed this year at MCO at Cedar Hill, which is 18 holes, not 21. And the differences in FPO will be hole 9 is kind of the shorter. I mean, still a good shot, but shorter, kind of a little bit straight to the left. And hole 10 is from the short tee pad, and then hole 18 is going to be shorter left on the berm instead of the long. And then the pro men will play the MPO MCO layout for Cedar Hill, which is
Why?
yeah, exactly.
I was like hoping you was like, oh yeah, everything's short.
nah,
Nah.
Licking the chops for something.
everybody that wanted to, crack at the MPO layout at Cedar Hill that didn't get to play it during MCO is going to get to play it. So it's long 9, long 18.
Golf
It's-
clap
yeah.
for Cedar Hill.
And double the points.
Billy Fowler.
Yes.
Yep, everything's still for double points.
Exactly. Billy Fowler, man.
Billy motherfucking Fowler.
Yes.
He's
Shout
the
out.
F.
BMF, yeah.
BMF. Oh, my gosh, man. That guy. And then
FF.
we've also had media come out from the MCO. That's another thing that happened this past week. Ace Run Pro.
Ace Run Pro and Howard Disc Golf
Howard
have
Disc
both
Golf just-
released their FPO1 and MPO2 coverage,
Yeah.
respectively, and Gatekeeper is soon to follow.
Yeah.
They just had a stretch immediately after MCO where they had to go to Jonesboro and then USDGC and then Charlotte.
DGPT.
Yep. So the MPO1, the lead card coverage for MPO, will be coming out from Gatekeeper Media on their
Yeah.
YouTube channel anytime now.
And shout out to y'all for first round Ace Run Pro. Marcus and Will were the commentators.
Yeah. Been hearing all sorts of positive remarks. I'm sure there's some negative ones out there. I usually don't pay attention to those, so
And
Good job, Will.
then Big Skinny, Will and Jay were third round Ace Run Pro chase card.
yep. And shout out to Sean and
Sean
Sarah
and Sarah.
Sinclair who
Yeah.
did the second round MPO2 coverage, and that was awesome as well.
Yeah, I think on the second round chase card MPO from hole 15 to 18, there's a lot of drama. And there's some crazy awesome shots and there's some not as good shots, but I feel like the back 9 on chase card round 2 is like get your popcorn ready
Yeah.
because it's got some lefties. Oakley is always fun to watch and play. And it gets intense. It's
Yeah.
definitely check it out.
Yeah, and then we got Halloween at Dogwood coming up this weekend, so we're super excited about that.
Oh, yeah.
Getting ready for that. I just hauled a bunch of supplies out there yesterday.
Yep.
So the PA, the tables, the table skirts, the
Oh,
tents, the flags, my TD crate, a bunch of other
Yeah.
stuff is all out there. So
It's always a multi. Like
That
we
way,
prep for this for a
hopefully,
little while.
we get an order from Emporia at your
Yeah.
house, and then I can come over and throw that in the van.
Boom. It's all coming
Squeeze
together.
my stuff in there, my air mattress and stuff.
Yep.
We're,
That's all.
I'm super stoked.
Yeah. And I'm sure, like Philip, he at Ogwood brings it up a notch for all these events. I mean, he usually takes off like his vacation week is Ogwood.
Oh, yeah.
He like.
Oh, he's
gets
been
it,
taking days off left and
yeah,
right.
exactly. Like,
And-
gets it
and-
mowed and looking nice. I mean, it always looks nice out there, but he takes it to a different level. So
The
Felipe.
basket for the bonfire, dude.
Yeah.
The basket for the
Oh,
bonfire
yeah,
is
dude.
ridiculous. It's so
each
big.
year gets a little bit bigger.
I'll throw that picture in the break so everybody
Yeah.
watching on YouTube will have a chance to see it. But I
Nice.
posted it on Facebook today. I mean,
Yeah.
a picture of the basket. So
Awesome.
it's quite literally probably 15 feet tall. It's pretty
I
dope.
feel like each year they're like, no, we can go a little bit bigger, a little bit taller. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's always been visible from space, and we haven't lit the forest on fire yet. We did melt one of Shantae's tents,
Oh,
I think, last year.
and be on the lookout for Mulligan Man and Bogey Boy.
Hey, I mean, they're around. I hear they're in town.
Yep.
You know, we wouldn't know. I mean,
It's like Mulligan,
we've never been in a room with the guys.
I've
so-
never, yeah.
Bogey Boy. Mulligan Man,
No, they're two different people.
Trojan Man, Mulligan Man,
Yeah,
Mulligan
Bogey
Man
Boy.
and Bogey Boy.
Bogey Boy.
Womp, womp, womp.
There you go.
You can find them on hole 14 at Ogwood this Saturday throughout the day.
Bogey
Doing
Boy,
work.
Bogey Boy will probably be heckling the shit out of you, so
Yep.
be ready for that.
Mulligan Man will be out there throwing extra drives.
Yep.
So, just, you know.
Tuna, you're going to be out there, right? For Voodoo
Voodoo
Dubs?
Dubs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And
What's your, can you release a
golf
costume?
clap thing for these guys. I mean, 20 freaking years ago, the amount of work you guys put in to make all this shit happen across Nashville, people don't realize how fortunate they are. And thank you. And again, one of these.
Appreciate that.
They're going to miss me when I'm gone.
You damn Skippy.
No, this year I've seen, like, at Wednesday Night Tags, more people sign up for a tag than compete in an event, and now they're playing every event, sanctioned or back tag. They're the first to sign up, and it's just awesome to see. We're getting so many new people in the sport, and people that have been in the sport and been in Nashville disc golf are taking their game to a new level. Like, a lot of people have gotten PDGA numbers this year and started competing. And
Working their way up the club ladder where they're
Yeah.
playing the casual stuff and they're getting into the bag tag
Yeah.
series and then playing the PDGA stuff and
right.
and just, you know, getting off at whatever floor they choose.
Yep.
You know?
Ultimate ambassadorship you guys are creating.
Well, it means a lot to hear you say
God.
that, dude. I mean,
Shit. Yeah. It's so amazing that people don't even consider it that much amazing. But if you put it in the perspective from 20 years ago, it's something that we could have never imagined or only hoped for as well.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't like this when I was like first getting started, you know.
Oh, no.
I think a lot of people we hear when they go out of town and they go to a league or a sanctioned event and they're like, they see it done a different way. And I'm not saying it's a bad way or a good way. It's just, they're like, you know, comes back and tell us like, oh yeah, I like this about, and we take a lot of feedback and it helps us because we always want to hear after events on what we can do to make it better. Cause we spend a lot of time, especially at bigger events like MCO, like even a week later, we're still talking to people and making sure everything's went smoothly and talking with the PDGA and, you know, they get feedback and they tell us and we have a meeting each year after that's like, here's what things went well, here's what we can do for next year. So,
yeah, good time to mention too. There was some fracas about the 888s that went out.
yes,
From
exactly.
Music City Open, and one thing that I've always said and tried to hold true to is that I make mistakes all the time. I am not accident proof, and I always try to do my due diligence and make sure that I'm up to date on all the facts and the rules and stuff.
Right.
And we had several people in the first round of the Music City Open not show up for their tee time, and there was no contact to the event staff, so we had no way to know of whether they were or what was going on with them. Everybody was looking for them 5 minutes before their tee time. So I was aware of a rule where there's an 888, which is a 5-point hit to your rating for no call, no showing.
right.
I checked with Sean Sinclair, who checked with Todd Lyon and Mike Downs, and everybody confirmed, and Sean was like, yep. Yeah, anyway, so, I checked with Sean, who checked with Mike and Todd, and everybody confirmed with me, yeah, they get 888s. Now, this became a particular singular issue because Cam Colglazier and Matt Oram did not show up for their tee time, and they were on two cards that
And
were...
Jake Heibenheimer.
And Jake Heibenheimer, and they were all on cards immediately preceding the two day one feature cards with coverage.
Yeah.
So we can't pull somebody down from their previously negotiated feature card.
Right.
So the only option we have is to start sending out fivesomes, log jams in front of the two cards that have cameras on them.
Right.
So it creates a very unfortunate situation for the event staff. And, you know, I don't relish punishing anybody like that, especially, you know, that late in the game, they're not going to get a refund. Right. So now they're taking a ratings hit as well.
Right.
It does seem extreme. And I kept rolling it over in my head and trying to make sure I was right and checking back in with Sean saying, are we sure that this is the right call? And at some point, it came to light that in round 1, if a person does not show up for their tee time and does not contact event staff, well, you just remove them from the tournament. There's no There's no coding. There's no.
You never start competing.
Yeah.
You never start competition. It's a deletion of that player from the tournament.
Yep. But if you were to play round 1 and then come back in any subsequent round, or just DNF from any of the subsequent rounds, then you are subject to an 888 DNF code, where you take a 5-point ratings hit,
or even just hole one.
Yeah. You miss your tee time, that's it. So we were able to get in touch with Andrew Sweeten, Big Dog, and he got all those round 1 888s that we initially entered corrected. So that was a mistake on our parts. We tried to do what we could to make sure we were making the right call.
Turns out there are two policies that were there's competition manual, and then there's a policy. There's different policies the PDGA puts out, and so there was it was a little bit ambiguous on if they didn't show up, but there was a policy that says if you don't show up and you don't tell someone, then you get an 888. But then the competition manual, it's like if you never showed, they never entered the competition.
Right.
And so it actually turns out in the competitors' favor, because they got the people on the first day that no showed, no called, then they got deleted out of the tournament. They didn't take a ratings hit. We took off the 888s, and there was one person that competed but then didn't complete the round that got a 999, which is a regular injury DNF. But it also means that we added in to those fields for the MPO. We added in $350 more, and we paid out 2 more places. So it actually was advantageous because those would have been deleted out of the tournament, and so there would have been fewer places paid, and their entry fee would not have been part of the total amount. So we got it situated. The players benefited because there's more added cash in that division, and I think everything's good.
I think so.
Intricacies.
Yeah, and we're always trying to do the right thing. So if you feel like you had something happen, and contact the PDGA, they'll contact us. We worked together. We talked with the PDGA, and we got it right.
Everything's good now.
That's how it's got to work.
And shout out to Cam Colglazer, who had an adult, very reasonable conversation with me throughout the entire process, just asking me questions, and we conversated back and forth. And that's what I love. That's what I appreciate.
Matteo and Cam Colglazer. Matteo took down weapons of grass destruction, and Cam Colglazer got second place. So they're still playing well. I mean, they're awesome. So
yeah, and I wish both of them well. I know the hurricane kind of came through Mobile, and then Cam had a sick kid, and so I totally understand their circumstances. I wasn't out to punish them or get them for anything, as some people on Facebook made the accusation that I 888'd them with a smile on my face. Not the case at all. I'm a fan of both of those guys. So I'm glad it worked out.
We got it corrected after the fact.
But hey, I mean, I'm always going to be honest about that. I mean, we're always chasing down a perfect event. It's probably never going to happen.
Right.
But there will always be mistakes made, and we will do our best to own them and be honest about them and make up for them.
Right.
So thank you to everybody that came out to Music City Open. Thank you to everybody that continues to come out to our events. I think we're still doing a pretty good job by our players.
Yeah.
So
I'm
happy. Tuna, you happy?
I'm always happy, sir.
Man. How do you feel about, just the state of things, the growth of things? I know there's a lot of people that were around for the old guard and the old way of doing things that are a little bit weirded out by how big it's getting. Do you feel?
Shoot, the more the
Is
better.
it
the
vindication for you?
Let it go. Yeah, it's something I've dreamed of my whole life and finally gotten accomplished. with not from me, but from you guys.
Nice.
Awesome.
Solid.
Well, if Tuna's happy, I'm happy. I don't know, Marcus, are you happy?
Ecstatic.
Tuna, if you were a crayon, what color would you be?
Purple.
For quickest answer yet
I know,
to
right?
that one.
Ford or Chevy?
Mercedes.
No, it's got to be Ford or Chevy. Come on.
Ford.
All right. I like that. Scary movie or comedies?
Exorcist.
Scary. movies.
Okay.
Okay. Would you
makes
go bungee jumping or skydiving first?
Skydiving.
Oh yeah.
And have you been?
Let's get it over with quick.
No.
Something
Nor
goes
bungee
wrong.
jumping.
Yeah, those are two things I think are like very crazy. Most people haven't done.
Mm-hmm.
I've done neither one. I also so just put that
I
up.
heard Metal Crunch a bunch, but that was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever rode on a 3-wheeler?
Yes.
Those things are dangerous. You know that, right?
Sure they are. I rode a motorcycle for about 2.5 hours one day. My buddy let me ride his 350,
Yeah.
and I pulled it back in the garage, and I need 4 wheels under mine.
You think you got to follow every
Bottom
second?
line, done. No
Yeah.
more motorcycles.
City life or country life?
I'd rather do city, but I'm in the country, so go figure.
Well, Nashville is one of those weird places where it's kind of you're on the cusp between both at any given point.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I live out in Jolton, so it's
even the
definitely
city is a little bit
country.
country. Yeah. That Jolton ain't that country.
Come on now.
dude. I grew up in rural West
Come
Virginia.
on back.
Well.
Yeah.
Talk about country. Anyway, man, Tuna, thank you for being with us on the show tonight. It's
Well,
been
thank
fun
you
hanging
for
out with
having me.
man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big W.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Sapphire Lounge.
It's been a cozy, casual,
yeah, I
kind of classy evening of entertainment.
I
for
didn't
you
know
guys
where it was
tonight.
going, but I knew it was going to be fun.
Well, I got to admit something here at the end. I've seen your podcast on the Facebook and
Yeah.
have not listened to a single one.
Yeah.
So I should have been more prepared in knowing how to react to the whole
No.
scenario, but I've enjoyed seeing the posts about you have them.
Yeah.
This is
That's
Wow.
the beauty of it, though.
Right.
You don't know where it's going.
Right. Okay.
Like,
Good.
we always have things like, well,
I
let's
just push a big red button.
let's
and then-
mention,
I've
let's like make sure to mention this, but we always, it
Hey.
always randomly comes up. So,
Sorry, should have went there.
no, it's good, man.
Happy to have
Okay,
you.
I won't ask you to completely spill the beans, but the most valuable disc in your collection, how much is it worth?
Oh, the 01 Rocks. I got 3 of them. There was 4 of us in a hotel room at the 01 USDGC, and the rest of them were tight on cash. And so I gave them $25 a piece. And those discs went for $800, and now they're down to about 5 or 6. Donnie Wicks, I'll let you have one for $750.
Was there a
I'm just
doc-
playing.
Shout out to
He
DJ.
offered a
I
nickel.
actually asked him.
doctor's discount?
Yeah, dude.
For
hey,
you, it's 1,000.
for everybody that's watching the show or listening to the show,
But
get your chips up, start flossing, start balling out of control a little bit, make your pocket change a little more visible, and you might earn an invitation to Tuna's Arsenal.
Boom.
I'm thinking about having another cherry fest. Not throwing it out there for Logan to smack in on the 01 Rock, but maybe leveling it out across the board to making it more advantageous and making it PayPal early so there's no shows. You know, that should
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
So
I need 3 discs. I need a 11-time Firebird, T-Bird, and Eagle L.
mhm.
Yeah, just putting it out
Just-
there.
With all these complete. I've got
Go ahead and
it.
put an invoice together, Tuna.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My favorite 3 discs. If you have any Innova that you can hook me up with,
Any.
any.
He'd never seen a disc in his life.
I know. True that.
All right, guys. I think that's about it. We're going to wrap it up here. And we love you. Thank you for tuning in. Tuna, thank you for being here.
Salute.
My homies, once again,
Salute, c'est la vie.
pleasure as always. And we'll catch you on the flip.
Adios.
Peace.
Let the bass kick.